have anything you may need for balance when we come to stand, okay? And we'll get going here. So comfortable seat, hands resting on the thighs somewhere, and already think to yourself, what are you using to hold yourself in this seat? I could add a whole bunch of tension and hold on to my body, or I could drop all that off and just rely on the fact that I've got my buttock bones well planted. I've got this feeling of my crown suspended by a string and just aligning. And then another point, like a battery has a positive end and a negative end, in the human body, according to Chinese medicine and Tai Chi and Qigong, the crown is the positive end, and the perineum, that space right in between the front and back, that perineum is the negative end. So we want to relate those to each other and then relax everything else and let that energy alignment hold us up. So let's just spend very brief, maybe 1 minute, breathing in the nose, holding the breath, exhaling, letting the breath smoothly out of the system, holding the breath empty. And then when you're ready, inhaling again. So just 1 minute, let your mind and body and breath and nervous system and all your layers come to connect, come to, there's the word ET, or one body, one earth, one connection. Now stay with your breathing and let's move into our spinal movements, spinal range of motion. So that rounding of the back, slide the hands forward, drop the chin, open the back up, open all those gates, those channels along the back body. And then back to neutral, slide the hands back, lift the chest, lift the chin, elbows pull back, shoulder blades squeeze back. 2 more. Sliding forward, rounding. Remember to hold the position. Don't rush out of it. Just kind of wiggle, loosen up the neck, mid-back, low back. And then neutral. And then from neutral, a gentle arching. And exhaling to neutral, keep exhaling, make your way towards rounded back. 1 more full round. To neutral. And arching. And back to neutral. Spinal rotation, left hand to right knee, right hand to right hip, and turn, bring the rag out. Use a little bit of strength from the arms to gently twist. And then release and come back to neutral. And other side, twist. Let's do 1 more each way. Remember to go to neutral each time and then go to the other side so that you drop all that leverage and tension. Because right now we're sort of engaging some muscle strength to create the twist, but then we want to let go of that muscle strength and remember that we want to be using that hydraulic body in the end. So again, we're just sort of wringing out wherever our body has become this sort of stagnated sponge, and we're wringing out the sponge, and then coming back to a relaxed open sponge. Now drop the arms alongside you. We're gonna, as if dripping water out of the right ear, leaning sideways to the right, let your left elbow float up. Maybe even let that hand float up. Maybe even press up with that hand and reach down through the right hand. And then let the left hand droop, and let's lean our way back to neutral and over to the other side. So we droop, let that right hand float up as the left arm is sort of heavy and hanging. And then maybe even press that right hand up towards the sky. And reverse. Let's do one more of each. So we're just unlocking the central line. And back. And so the key is we clear out this range of motion and we remind the various areas of our body how they are built to move. Then we find ourselves able to find center in a relaxed way better. Now, we're back to the middle. Bring your legs a little closer to each other. So let's do right arm only. We're going forward and up, back and down. Forward and up, back and down. So get that circle happening. Circle. And reverse that. Circle, circle. So the full circle of the shoulder blade has to go back towards the spine, up towards the ear, forward away from the spine, and down to the neutral. Circling. And switch arms. Forward and up, back and down. You'll also notice if you let it, your arm and your hand will go through a little position change. When you come forward, it will be internally rotated. When you come up and back, it will naturally externally rotate, and then it'll fall to neutral again. And circle, circle. Switch directions of that circle, circle. And let's double it up. Circle. Now add to this sort of leaning forward and coming back. Leaning, coming back. Leaning, coming back. So you let it swing under and come up and over. One more. And switch directions. Circle. Circle. So you notice as we get better at the movement, we no longer have to do it as slowly. Then we can actually be practicing this water-like movement, this fluid movement, this hydraulic, this energetic movement, and release. Now, a little trickier. Right arm goes forward and up, and then as it goes back and down, left arm goes forward and up, and then we switch. And switch, and switch. And so you're getting this, again, you see it from the side, the shoulder blade has to go forward, then up, then back, then down, and the other coming. So we get this really nice sort of writhing motion through the shoulders. And then switch directions, so now one's coming forward and down, the other's going back and up. And then forward and down, the other's going back up. And this one I always think of, it's kind of like you're doing the crawl. You're doing swimming like you're doing the crawl. And neutral. Take your left hand onto your right knee, lean over, and now it's like you're stirring a pot. So now instead of it being about the shoulder blade, it's about the joint where the arm bone meets the shoulder blade. Circles. Now you're stirring a pot on the ground. You see it's getting a little bigger, a little bigger. And then if it feels good, if you feel pretty open there, you could sit upright and be like you're drawing a circle on the wall to your right. Circle. Light and gentle, nothing forced. Notice how the arm bone's not really going above shoulder height. So the shoulder blade's able to stay relaxed. Then relax the arm. Now circle inward. Start leaning over. So this is hanging. The hanging is very key for that hydraulic and relaxed movement. And then if it feels okay, then you come upright as if, again, drawing a circle on the wall on the side of the room where your arm is turned. And release it and relax. Switch sides. Take that very relaxed arm and place the hand on the knee, droop over, and make small circles, larger circles, and then maybe sitting upright and drawing a circle on the wall to your left. Remember, relaxation, trying to move with that hydraulic softness, not with tension. And relax it and drew inward circles. Larger inward circles. And then sitting upright, drawing that circle on the wall. Very relaxed, very at ease. And let it hang. Elbow folding and gently compress the elbow only to really feel decompressing elbow. Drop the hands down and feel the bouncy quality, the open elbow joint. Let's try that again. Folding. So we compress it so that our brain feels that, and then we open, we release. And you want to keep your elbows that open quality even as you let them hang by your side. Then float the arms up in front with that open elbow quality. Turn palms down and up, focusing just on pronation and supination of the forearms. So there's two bones in the forearms, and we're turning, 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 turning. Then palms face up, a little in and out with the wrists, letting the fingers just slightly go along for the ride. And then we go for circles. So go in, fold inward, down and forward, and then spinning again so the palms face up, and you circle. And you circle. So right at the end, there's that little spin so it can come through again. Eventually, you can just sort of, like butter, just flow it through, right? Easy, so relaxed. And then switching directions, palms have to turn face out, drop them through and come up like you're offering something, and then spin, offer, spin, and then eventually you can just flow, flow, and release. Hands spread, make a little claw into about an 80% fist, not your hardest fist, and then release. Now we add that movement to claw, wrap the arms around, press pinky side and elbow side together, and pull elbows down around the back so you're opening your back up. Now, elbows flare out, palms open, lift the chest, arch the back, and pull the elbows down and back behind you just a little bit to activate all that musculature in the back. And then relaxing that, there's sort of a springiness, the hands pop up. Make the claw into a fist, wrap and round. And again, we put about 80–90% of the pressure, only to then relax and let that relaxation be how we move to this almost like a flowering, blossoming position. And we put a little action into squeezing, close that back, and then relax and let everything pop up and over. Make a claw into a fist, wrapping, pressing. Let's do one more round. This is what they say is one of the best for the lymph system. We're squishing and squeezing the lymphatic system, cleaning ourselves at a very deep level. Now relax, let the hands come out and down and scoot to the back of your chair. Now we're doing light kickboxing. We've been working on this here. Chamber. So as you lift one leg up, you actually bring the heel sort of towards the butt like it's a spring that's loading, and then set it back down. So as if you're a boxer, you're chambering and down, or a kickboxer that is, chambering down. Now we're going to chamber and extend push kick. So this is like a front kick in martial arts. Return and chamber and set it down, and we switch. Chamber, push, chamber, reverse. And with me, since I have my little swivel chair, I can sort of angle myself, and I'm back, and then I pretend I'm boxing on this side, and chamber and push, and maybe you can do that in your own seat as well. Just sort of angling as if you're a boxer, with one hand a little in front, one hand a little behind, and then you're switching and going push and reverse, and push and reverse. Eventually, I'm hoping that we'll do these standing eventually, once we sort of build all the movement vocabulary. Now, push out one leg and hold it there, and let's do point, flex, and really focus on shin muscle, calf muscle. Shin muscle, calf muscle, and also through the arch of the foot and the toes, and the top of the foot and the toes. Arching with clenched toes, toning with flexed toes or spread toes. One more. Good. Now in a flexed foot position, evert, invert, a little in and out. And then circles. Pick a direction. Circle, thorough, fluid. Other direction, circle, fluid, and neutral. Other side, chamber, push, kick, pointing and flexing, getting shin and calf muscles, as well as arch and top of foot muscles. Then evert, invert, a little in and out. This is that aspect of the foot that keeps us balanced. If we step on an uneven surface, we step on a little pebble, and the ankle just makes this little adjustment. Now circle. This helps to clear out the traffic jam, nervous system traffic jam, blood traffic jam, muscular traffic jam, energy traffic jam, switch directions. That's occurring usually in our feet. The end points can be traffic jams, but the feet especially, because they're holding everything up, so they tend to be tight. So we want to keep them clear. Alrighty, and chamber down. Scoot all the way to the front edge of your chair, and let's swivel step left leg out. This is to open up the spiraling of the hips. So external, lift the heel. Internal, feel this dropping in quality, wringing out the rag, and then external, wring out the rag, internal, wring out the rag, and finally hold open inner thigh all the way out to the knee. And then walk it back in. Internal, external, internal, external, neutral. Other side. External, internal, wring out that hip. External, internal, and finally open. And walk it back in, all the way in. Now, folding at hip creases as if bowing. So we're not rounding the spine, we're focusing on this hinge point right here, and then back to vertical. Again, hinging. So we have that brain command in very good control. Now, hinging, and slide the hands down your shins and round the back. Now stay rounding as you tip back up. So you're rounded, you're rounded, you're rounded. So your back is opening, and then start to let your chest lift and go almost into a back bend as you tip your hips forward. So now you're arched and folding, and then let the spinal column gently round and hang. Now keep it rounded as you come up, all the way up, and then down. So let's do this about 3 or 4 more times. And really think about thorough, that there is a place where you feel totally, fully finishing that movement, and then that movement will turn around into its opposite movement. Same thing here, rounding all the way so you feel like you've reached that edge, and then you're coming up. So this is part of what's called shaking loose the heavenly pillar. Shaking loose the heavenly pillar. the spinal column. Last one. All the way up. And then settle to the middle. Next one here, without the spinal movement, just the hips, leaning to your right buttock, tipping forward sort of to the right, then circling around to the left, back, and around. This one is called, and we will do this eventually standing up, the dragon stirs the sea with its tail, right? And when we do it standing, we do it in sort of a wide squat, so it gets a little trickier, and it feels a lot more like a dragon stirring the sea. But even this, you can sort of picture this dragon tail that you're stirring the sea with. Switch directions if you didn't. I forgot to say it, I think. One more time around. Right, and so we're getting rid of this compression and congestion in the legs where they plug into the hips, and the hips where they connect to the legs, and the buttocks, and all these spiraling muscles and tissue that tend to just get so stuck. And so we want to be moving through these spirals in the hips. So now, same thing in the hips, but let's add the idea that if my hips go to the right side, I can actually drop my spine gently to the left. So I'm doing a little side bend. And then as my hips go forward, I can actually lift my chest and drop my head back. Then as the hips go around to the left side, I drop my head and shoulders slightly right. And then as my hips go back, I drop my chest and shoulders and everything forward. So now all the heavenly pillar is rolling around. So again, hips to the right, upper body slightly left. Hips tip forward, upper body slightly back. Hips to the left, upper body right, and around. And then see if you can just get this feeling where the movement is originating in the hips, but you're actually moving your spinal column in such a way to circle everything. Switch directions, other way. And if this one is hard, which it probably is, just try to look at what I'm doing and replicate it a little bit, but not in a way that feels negative to you. If anything hurts, back off. But we're just making sure we're shaking loose this heavenly pillar. Now we're back to neutral. Arms down alongside. Arms float up to shoulder height. Holding there, notice you're using certain muscle groups to lift the arm, but you have not done anything at the shoulder blade level. The arms come back down. Do the same thing going forward. Again, certain aspects of the shoulder muscles tone, but the shoulder blades have not had to move. Going down. Now we take that up a notch. Arms out to that shoulder height. Turn the arms, palms face up. Now to get further up, shoulder blades have to do upward rotation. So feel that in your back, how your shoulder blades are turning in such a way as to allow the arms up. Now reach your right arm a little higher, 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 and then melt it down. And then left arm higher, 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 and then melt it down. And then right arm higher and down. Left arm higher and down. Now both higher and out. Down. Arms forward and up. Keep them going. Shoulder blades are now upward rotating, upward. And then once you reach up, lift the chest, arch the back, create a little invigorating back bend. And reverse. One more of each. So we're just clearing out the congestion, making sure every single structural part, the bones of the body, have moved through their ranges of motion so that we have a chance to practice that hydraulic movement. Because if we have a bunch of barnacles on our muscle systems, a bunch of tension and stagnation, then it's very difficult to try to practice fluid movement. So now, let's do our sit to stand, stand to sit. Level one, remember how we do this. It's a folding and we move the energy forward and pause in the squat, and then push through the floor to rise up. And when you rise up, can you feel relaxed? Can you just stand soft and relaxed? Then to sit down, we fold, pausing here for a moment to see the buttocks behind the heels, the head and shoulders forward, and then sink, land the tush, and then let your body weight go in. So now there's no real weight in the feet. We angle forward, we feel the weight shifting, we move forward so the weight is in the feet, and then push to rise, relax, fold, butt goes back, and sit. Let's do 3 more, either level 1 where you pause at the squat, or eventually you just work on like fluid, straight up, and controlling the fluid down. 2 more. Last one. Good. And let's do 1 squat to hold. Squat to hold. Think of this one again as tapping into your reserve life force. And really, it's, you know, that may sound like you're using up energy reserves, but it's about being able to tap in to this energy and make sure the legs realize they got to keep producing and storing and stay strong and active. And then let's rise and just let that chi flow right on through to the rest of the body. All right. So now we're standing. Make sure you have any, again, balance items that you may need for safety. And just find your natural stance here. And notice that you can rock your weight a little bit towards the balls of the feet. And then come away from the balls of the feet towards the middle of the foot. And notice that you can even rock a little bit towards the heel of the foot. And then rock from the heel of the foot towards the middle of the foot, towards the ball of the foot, maybe even towards the toes a little bit. Notice how that challenges your balance. Again, you could have your hand on something for balance as you play with this. But as you move slowly back and forth, if you pay attention, you'll notice little muscle activation through the arch, the ankle, the low leg, and even up through the rest of the body in the pelvis and hips and core and back, just by changing this back and forth movement. And most people, when I'm teaching this at first, they think of it as just only 2 places. You're either forward or you're back, and it sort of throws off the balance. But can you go very slowly along that range? So you're sort of defining this large plane of surface area that for many people, the foot can feel just like this little single point that they're just plugging into the ground, walking around like a block. Whereas another way to think of it is this broad surface upon which this whole body is resting, with these arches holding them up and these various points connecting to the earth. So try to get an awareness through the sole of your foot. It's a great one to practice on your own in bare feet, on a carpet or on some sort of a surface that gives feedback like concrete or grass, and just rocking back and forth. Think of it as nourishment to your brain. It's actually feeding the brain awareness of the earth, of the ground, and where you stand. Now find yourself sort of in the middle, but a little more towards the ball of each foot. Not the toes, that's a little too far, but the ball of each foot. Now let both knees open a little and bend, and then straighten and totally lock the knees. So noticing if you lock your knees, there's a sort of support that you get. And when you open the knees up and let that weight go through, it allows you to actually feel your body weight pierce through the ground at the ball of each foot. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning. Go ahead and lock your knees. When your knees are locked, you're actually using tendon and a bone support and also certain muscles. But when you take that away, now you're relying more on that vitality, that springiness in the integrity of the body. So the next time you bend the knees a little and you have them just slightly open and you feel the balls of each foot, Think of that as your standing pose. So if you're standing in line somewhere, just be standing like this instead of locked out or in one hip or something like that. Pay attention to just this subtle change, and that's going to tap into the life force in the legs. It's going to build up that chi power in your legs. Now, we're going to do a Qigong maneuver called sinking chi to wash the organs. So arms go out like crane wings. We've worked on crane wing before. Turn your palms to face forward, and then rock a little bit towards the ball of your foot, towards your toes, and let that sweep your hands out in a gathering gesture. Rock back towards the middle of the foot as you bring your hands to your mouth, as if ingesting something from the outside. Let the hands come down the front of the body and hover at the belly. And then right here, we sit as if we're sitting into a chair. Let the hands glide down the front of the legs and just sink a little bit till you feel your back open up, and then release everything out of the body. And then rise back to standing. We're going to do that again. So this helps to slough off grip and tension that we're holding in our bodies. So again, I'm turned sideways so you guys can see the angles. Crane wing. Then rocking forward into the ball of the foot, into the toes a little bit. Sweep the hands out. They call this dipping into the distance. Dip in. And then start rocking back on the feet. Bring the hands to the mouth. Down the front of the body to the belly. Pausing. Paying attention to this important belly. And then point the fingers down. And as you begin sitting the tail, round the back a little bit. Let the arms hang. And open. See if you can feel how all like a rainbow, the spine opens like a rainbow along the back of the body, and then come all the way back up to standing. Just going to do that 3 more times. Crane wing the arms. Rock a little bit forward. Let the hands like a circular motion sweep out, and as they start coming back, you rock a little back in towards the back of the foot. Hands come down to the belly. And then you just begin sitting gently and rainbow open your back as you sink tail, release arms, and then rise back up with less tension in the shoulders and back. 2 more. Crane wing. Rock a little forward, the hands circle. This sort of gathering gesture, inviting this chi in through the mouth area, down to the belly. And then the tail sitting back, rainbowing open, releasing, coming up with even less tension than when you went down. 1 more time. Crane wing, rock forward and sweep. Eventually this all feels like just the most smooth and natural movement, receiving to the belly and then sinking and releasing. Rising back to standing. Now, shift your weight more to the right leg. Make sure you don't get caught in the hip or lock the knee, but instead open the joints and let it get to the ball of the foot. Then shift back to middle and shift over to that left foot. Let it get through the ball of the foot. And then we're shifting. Let it get to the ball of that foot. Feeling full, empty, or at least that difference. And then you're going through 50-50, and then you feel full, empty. Now, shift to the right leg and turn the hips slightly right and let the hands just go in that direction a little bit. Then shift to the left and slightly turn to the left. Let that drag the hands through like bear washing paws in the stream, turning left. Then shifting first, turning second, hands sweep across through the stream. Hands will naturally turn around and we're ready to sweep across. So keep doing that. Move closer so you can see the hand position. This one is turned palm away. That one's turned palm towards, and then they switch positions. Shifting, turning. Another important piece to this is that it's happening on a circle. So as opposed to a straight plane, it's coming around in front and then a little bit alongside you, turning and then shifting and coming around in front. So you're actually making like a circle in front and to the side, and then catching that wave and circling in front, right? So again, things are happening on circular and spiral-like pathways instead of lines and corners and squares, right? Through. Now, place left hand behind your back. Let's do the right hand sweeps through. This is now brush knee, crane wing, roll and fold. Now it's spring loaded, so try not to have it held out stiffly, but let this settle so that it's loaded like a spring that's loaded, and then you shift and turn the hips, and it will naturally express and down. Now it's dipped into the water, so we're shifting, turning, and that's brush knee, follow that circular spiral-like pathway, and then we're shifting, turning, push, let it express itself and come down. So let's do a few more of those. Brush knee, float, roll, fold, and then shift, turn hips, and push. One more. And push. Now as this right hand comes down, bring the left hand out, standing bear across, wrap right hand behind the back, and we're going brush, crane, roll, fold, push, down, shift, turn, brush, crane, roll, fold, push. Two more. Now, as this left hand comes across and down, right hand comes up, roll, fold, over. Now we're doing shift, turn. We got to let both hands brush and push, cycle through, and then take it back the other way. Shift, turn, brush, and push, cycle through. Let's do about 3 more to each side. And remember what I was talking about at the beginning of class, that even though we're repeating, each round is an opportunity to see what system are you using to do this. And if you find yourself using tension, try to soften. And even if that makes the movement sort of shrink down a little bit, see if you can get a feeling for, okay, I'm not using tension or leverage, what they call li in Tai Chi, or clumsy strength, but I'm using butter, smooth, ease, sung, or this supple quality to move through space. And that's very healing to the nerves, healing to the joints. Shift and turn. Alrighty, so now as your right hand comes down, left hand comes up, pause here. We're going to Golden Rooster. Right foot is empty, bring it a little behind you, toes turned out, and sit back through that right leg, empty the left foot, and can you get to your tippy toes? If you can get to the tippy toes, then can you pick the foot up just an inch? If so, and it throws you off, then go back down. If you lift that foot and it feels like it can go higher, play with lift and touch. Lift and touch. Remember how we were talking about chambering early? This is sort of like chamber, down. Chamber, down. Now, switching sides, turn the left foot, toes out. As you shift, change the hands. Left hand down, right hand up. Empty the right foot and just take it a little in front, touch the toe. Stay with toe down, or if it's okay, lift and lower a few times. You can do, like you saw that one was just a low lift. Someday you might even try to really get it to chamber. And down. Chamber. Down. Chamber. Down. One more. Chamber. Down. Now we're going to switch back and forth a couple times. Plant the right foot, toes turned out, no weight. Shift. The hands change. As the left foot becomes empty, see if you can even ride that empty quality so it feels like a feather. It's not muscle pulling it up. It's because it's empty, it just rises. Set it down empty, and that's the key to get this feeling of switching. Which one is the full, 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 full? The other becomes the empty, and therefore it can just rise. Set it down. Let's do one more each. Empty. Shift. It's changing, 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 and rise. And eventually we use this one walking backwards in the Tai Chi form. That's where this one shows up. You're actually walking backwards. Here we're just in place, getting a feel for it. And land it empty. Now parallel that, point that right foot forward, bring the right hand down, shift, parallel both feet, and let's go back to standing bear. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Now, place left hand behind your back, right hand swept across the lake like vapor, rises. Shift to the right, turn the hips to the right. It's like a cloud across the sky. Clouds fill up and naturally rain down into the lake. Shift left, turn left, sweep the lake. Vapor rises. Shift right, turn right, cloud floats across sky and rains. Two more. Shift, turn, sweep, rise. Shift, turn, cloud, rain. One more. Again, notice, what are you using to move? Is it leverage or is it softness or song? And it's such a lovely feeling when we can move this body with song, softness. Now, left hand comes out, sweeps across, wrap right hand behind the back, left hand vapor into a cloud. Cloud across the sky, shifting and turning, and then rain, fill up the lake. Shift and turn, we're in the lake, it vapors and rises. Shift, turn left, it's a cloud. That rains down. Shift, turn, lake vapor. Shift, turn, cloud, rain. Shift, turn, lake. As it vapors up, bring the right hand out, have it in the lake. So now we're doing cloud, lake. And then vapor and rain, cloud and lake, vapor and rain, cloud, lake, vapor, rain. One more. Good. Now, let the left hand come down. We're doing a standing bear, neutral. Then, move slightly to the right side of your room, of your space. You have a little bit of a runway to the left. Now, just side steps. The key here, sink down and get again that Tai Chi stance. Put all the weight in your right or through your right leg. Feel the ball of the right foot. Now, as this left foot is empty, just notice, do this a little bit. Notice how if it's truly empty, it can sort of like a hovercraft glide out, in, out, in. Now, the next time you glide it out, leave it out, shift. Now, same thing on this side. As this right leg is empty, just do a little out and in, right? And it's got to be empty in order to pull this off, right? So it's a really great sort of moment to check. It's like a little test. Is it really empty? Now, bring it in. Leave it in. Shift and change. Notice how you have to really let it get through. Now that left leg out. Shift. So now we're moving laterally across the room. Then right foot is empty. Glide it in. Shift into the right and through the right leg. Glide the left foot out. Shift. Glide the right foot in. Shift. Glide the left foot out. One more time, we're going to shift. Glide the right foot in, back out. And let's go that way. Shift. Step in. Shift. Glide the right foot out. When it's empty, keep it empty. Then shift. Glide the left foot in once it's empty. Don't rush that. Shift and really get all the weight supported by the left leg and glide the right foot out. And then shift. Make sure you're not holding tension in the upper body. Let this be empty so that you're really connected to the earth. One more. And shift. Now, place right hand behind your back and just remember, sweep, lake, turn. Shift and turn, cloud, rain. So remember that. Now, shift to the right, turn to the right. As you vapor, step that left foot in and then step it back out. So now we're ready, cloud. So we're shifting left, turning left, cloud. As it rains down, glide your right foot in. Shift to the right, turn to the right, lake. As it vapors up, glide the left foot out. Shift left, turn left, cloud. As it rains down, hover, glide that right foot in. As you shift and turn, lake, and vapor, stepping left foot out. Shift, turn, cloud. Right foot comes in, rain. Shift, turn, lake. Vapor up, left leg out. We're going to switch directions, but let's shift left, turn left. Now, as the left hand comes down and behind your back, bring the right hand up to a cloud. Stepping in and then back out. Now, shift right, turn right, cloud. As it rains down, left foot comes in, rain. Shift left, turn left, lake. Vapor, stepping right foot out. Cloud, shift and turn. As it rains, step that empty left foot in. Shift left, turn left, lake. As it vapors up, step that empty right foot out. Shift, turn, cloud. As it rains, step in. Now, step back out. Bring your left hand out, sweep it across, and bring it up, cloud and lake. So now shift left, turn left, cloud and lake. As they vapor and rain, step right foot in. Shift right, turn right, cloud and lake. As they vapor and rain, step left foot out. Cloud and lake, shifting, turning. Vapor and rain, step in. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Vapor and rain, step out. Shift, turn, cloud and lake. Vapor and rain, step in. Switch directions, step back out. Hands stay the same, cloud and lake. Then they switch. Vapor, rain, step in. Cloud and lake. Vapor, rain, step right foot out. Shift right, turn right. Stepping in. Shift left, turn left. Vapor, rain, stepping out. Last time across. Cloud, lake. Step in. Vapor, rain, step back out. And then shift and turn to center. Bring the bottom hand up, crisscross. And then turn both palms forward and down and let them settle down and find your Tai Chi stance and actually move yourself to the center of your space. Okay, now let's do our 70-30 movement, which is a forward and back movement. So put your weight in your left leg, turn your right foot out 5, 10, maybe 15 degrees. Shift through that right leg. So now that it's supported here, left foot is empty. Step it in front. Make sure to not let the foot come across the center line, but actually as much out as you comfortably can. Hands on hips. Shift 70% into your front leg and turn your hips to face forward. Now by 70, it just simply means you're not sitting in the middle and you're not way out and putting your knee past your toes, but you are more in your front leg than you are in your back leg. So just feel that separation of this is more where you are than back there. Now sit back 100%. And then forward 70%. And then back 100%. And then forward 70%. Now we're going to add something today I don't think we've done much of. Sit back, and remember how we've been turning the hips, right? So now we sit back and turn the hips a little to the left. So don't force a whole bunch of upper body, just a little turn. Notice when you do that, this front knee will often fall inwards. So can you, as you turn your hips left, roll that left knee, as you turn your hips to the right, can you roll that left knee open? It's really the thigh open, right? Now, keeping your hips turned, hold on to them, shift 70% into your front leg, and then turn your hips to face forward. Let's do that again. Sit back 100%, turn your hips to the right a little bit, but don't let that left knee fall in, and then shift towards the front, and then turn, right? Again, sitting back. Now we're gonna do brush knee and push in this position. So turn slightly to your right, right hand comes up, folds and is spring-loaded, left hand is dipped in the water. Now shift 70% into your front leg, turn your hips and let the hands brush knee and push. And that push comes more forward so it doesn't come across, and push. Let's try that again. Cycle the hands through, sit back, turn, the hands cycle and get ready, and then we're going shift, turn, brush knee, and push. Very classic Tai Chi movement here. Cycle the hands, sit back. It's almost like a brush knee and push back. And then we prep the hands. Right hand is loaded, left hand in the water. Shift, turn the hips, brush knee and push in a 70-30. One more. Cycle. We're sitting back and turning, cycle the hands, and now we're going shift, turn, brush, and push. Good. Drop the hands. Let's switch sides. Sit back, step your front foot back, turn slightly out, switch over to that left leg as the support leg, step the right foot out. Remember to have some width left to right, as well as right foot in front of the left. Now shift forward. Turn the hips to face forward, sit back and forward a couple of times so you check your distance. Can you sit back and forward? Sit back and forward. Now we add the light rotation. Sit back, turn the hips slightly to the left. Don't let that right knee fall in. Keep it rolling open as you turn. Now grab your hips. We're shifting to the right leg, turning the hips to face forward, boom. Then sit back. Again, turn to your left. Don't let that right knee collapse in. Then shift and turn. Right, notice how that shift and turn creates a little something. It creates this power, this sort of twisting power, centrifugal power. Again, sit back and turn to your left. Now bring left hand up and over, folded. Right hand dipped in the water, brush knee and push. Shift, turn hips, right hand brush knee, left hand push forward. And then we switch the hands, we let them cycle through, sit back and turn to the left. Let that turn, cycle the hands and prep them. And then let's shift and turn, brush and push. Hands cycle as you sit back and turn to the left. Don't let right knee fall in. The hands cycle and prep. And we're ready for shift, turn, brush, and push. Hands cycle. We sit back and turn. They cycle again. One more. Shift, turn, brush, and push. Cycle back. Step that front foot back parallel. Standing bear. Standing bear. Middle. Now let's do 3 of those finishing sink chi wash organs. Crane wing, rock a little forward, the hands sweep around and gather. Rock back, the hands as if ingesting through the mouth, down the front channel to the belly. Fingers point down, you sit the tail, rainbow the spine open, and release. Rise up. 2 more. Crane wing as you rock forward, let the arms flow forward. Sweep and gather, then rock back in this sort of ingesting gesture. And then rainbow the back open as you sink. Let's do one more time. Crane wing as you rock forward, sweep, dipping into the distance, and then rock back, hands to mouth, down, hover. Sink tail, rainbow, open the back, and dangle the arms. And we rise back up. Sink chi to the belly one time. Hands come up and over. Sink, 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 sink. And hover the hands right over the belly. And then place one hand on top of navel, other hand on top of that hand. 5 breaths. The idea here is that our life force, we don't want it always in our brain, thinking, chattering. We don't want it in our emotional center where it's all feeling and emotional turbulence. We want it in its seed form, in its prenatal form, resting in the navel and storing there and building a surplus, like an investment account, building and building and building for us. So that if we need it, we can pull it out, but we're not already spending it willy-nilly, right? Last 3 breaths, letting the mind settle, noticing anywhere in the body that you're relying on structural kind of bone on bone or muscle tension to hold you up, and just see if you can relax that. And then release the hands down. And make sure you have a chair nearby that you can have a seat. And a great way to end your practice is to just sit for a moment and do nothing at all. Be completely still, completely yin, right? Since we've just done a bunch of yang, it's very good to do some yin, pure yin, where you just pause completely. So I'm going to